It's great to be with you guys. I mean, I was saying at dinner, I feel like I'm on my home turf. You know, to be with other Christians that are leaning into change and exploring this brave, new, exciting world of digital media and social media, to me is very exciting. If you think about it, we're living in the good old days. I mean, years from now, we'll look back on this moment, this time, and we'll think we were there in the middle of it. But unfortunately, I guess it's just human experience or whatever, but we never see it when we're in the middle of it. And we pine for the good old days back when, but they weren't really the good old days. But I think there are so many opportunities today for us as Christians. With the technology, with the assets that the Lord has put into our hands, it's a phenomenal time to be alive. Do you agree with that? Amen. Yeah. I've noticed in the corporate world, there's two kind of people. And this actually isn't part of the speech yet, so don't start the timer yet. But there are people who lean into change and really embrace it, and there are people that are on their heels and try to resist it. And it usually doesn't go well for them. Here's my thesis for tonight. You can build a powerful online platform by taking just 5 steps. Now, this is not armchair theory. Everything I'm going to share with you tonight, I've done. Number 1, this is so important. Start with wow. But what is wow? You ever thought about that? What is wow? We've all experienced it. You know, it's that jaw-dropping experience when you crest a hill and see a gorgeous sunset that you've never seen before. And I've thought about this a lot, and I think it's this. Wow is exceeding your customer or your constituents' expectations. It's that simple. It's whenever you get something you didn't expect in a positive way, it's a wow. Now, whenever your customers or your constituents or the people you're trying to lead have an experience with a product or a service or something that you're delivering, they can have one of 3 experiences. Really important to understand this. First of all, if your product or service or cause or whatever it is doesn't live up to their expectation, they're disappointed. And unfortunately, they talk about it. And unfortunately, they're connected. So obviously, we don't want to pick, door number 1, disappointment. We don't want to miss people's expectations. But there's a second experience they can have. And for years, this was actually the goal of many companies. If they could just get customer, satisfaction. That's like the second experience. How do you create wow in a business or a ministry? First thing you got to do is you got to understand their expectations. What do they expect when they come to your church, to your business, to your university, to your ministry, to your web page? What's the expectation? Literally, with your team, write it down. So your business, think about it. What's the expectation? What are they coming to you for? How can you intentionally exceed that and deliver more than they expect? Second step, prepare to launch. Prepare to launch. It seems like we're always launching something. It's a new department, new course, new church, new business, new division, new menu, new product. We're always preparing to launch. And when I'm talking about preparing to launch, I'm talking about a mindset that you have to have. And especially when you talk about social media, there needs to be a mindset when you approach it, because there are a lot of people engaged in social media that are just fiddling around. It's another form of entertainment. And that's fine if that's all you want it to be. But if you want to use it strategically for the kingdom and really affect something important, you got to be more thoughtful than that. Content is the new marketing. It's true in every industry. But what keeps people coming back is fresh content. That's the new marketing. People want to learn stuff. They want to know how to do stuff. They're feeling empowered. And no matter what your industry is, there's stuff that you know that you can use that'll help other people. And that becomes the new marketing. But you have to accept responsibility for the outcome. Doesn't mean you can't involve other people. More about that in a minute. But you've got to accept responsibility for it. So start with wow as number 1. Number 2, prepare to launch. And number 3, you got to build your home base. Here's where it's got to start. Here's the social media framework. And I'll use my own website at michaelhyatt.com as an example. Your home base is the first and the primary asset that you have to develop for a platform. It's a place in cyberspace that you own and control. That's a key distinctive. That's not Facebook, because Mark Zuckerberg likely will change it next week. You don't control it. You certainly don't own it unless you own some of the stock. God help you. But it's a place you own and control. Then there are embassies. Now, these are all these spaces, all these services like Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest and Google Plus and all the rest. These are places that you don't own and control, but where you have a presence and the credentials to go in and out. It's like an embassy. And then there's what I would call outposts. These are places where you don't have a regular presence, but you're monitoring these conversations on the frontier so that if somebody, where you're not always present, happens to mention you, you get an alert to it. I say this, it's never been easier before in history to build a platform, but that's not to say it's easy. Watch what happened to me. The first year, I had on average 110 monthly unique visitors. That included my screen refreshes and my mom checking in to make sure I wasn't saying anything damaging or embarrassing to the family. The good news was it doubled the next year to 225, then 450, then 700. Now notice this. This is the takeaway for you. It took me 4 years to get over 1,000 readers. You can do it faster today, and that's one of the reasons I wrote my book Platform, was to document how I did it and mostly the mistakes I made so you don't have to repeat them, so you don't have to relearn them. I think this book is like kind of the Cliff Notes, the shortcut guide to getting there faster. Step 4, expand your reach. Expand your reach. Okay, get your home base built. Now it's time to get out there in the marketplace and expand your reach. The reason we hate marketing is because of this guy. This guy is Mr. Human Spam. You know, he's the guy that comes on when you're trying to watch the Today Show, and he comes on to the commercial, usually a furniture commercial or a car commercial, I don't know why, and it's like 10 decibels higher than the regular show, and he's yelling at you to buy whatever he's selling. And as Seth Godin pointed out years ago in Permission Marketing, the problem is those messages are impersonal, irrelevant, and unanticipated. And so you and I do what's happening with increasing frequency, and that's reach for the remote and hit the mute button. But what if that wasn't marketing today? And I really think you can kiss that kind of interruption-based marketing goodbye. What if marketing was just about sharing? Engage your tribe. And this is what's different about social media marketing and what it makes possible for today. But engaging a tribe today is really about starting a conversation. It's not a monologue, and this is the biggest misuse of social media that I see, and not so much in churches, and not so much in Christian world, but for sure in corporate world, where they see it as another form of direct response advertising. And they're just blasting these audiences with these messages, and they wonder why they're not getting any engagement or why they're not getting, to see their follower count go up. It just doesn't work that way. It's more like a dinner party where you're inviting people over to your house for dinner, and you have the privilege as the host of leading the conversation. But you got to be present. If you invited people to your house and then you didn't show up, that would be rude. You got to be there. And I see people write blog posts and there are comments, and where's the blogger? So again, let me just summarize. Step 1, start with wow. Step 2, prepare to launch. Step 3, build your home base. Step 4, expand your reach. And step 5, engage your tribe.
Biola University offers a variety of biblically centered degree programs, ranging from business to ministry to the arts and sciences. Visit biola.edu to find out how Biola could make a difference in your life.